Chapter 3, Get Off the Couch. Welcome back to my channel. I am Unstoppable. I'm Dr. Tom Wallen, and on this week's episode, we're going to be covering Chapter 3 of the book Positively Unstoppable by Diamond Dallas Page. Now, in my opinion, this is the most important chapter in the book, particularly for me, because it introduces the Smackdown goal-setting system, which I think is really, really important for anybody that's trying to achieve their goals. So, before we get started, I'm going to put my glasses on, because it's a book review and everybody looks a little bit smarter with glasses. And let's get started. Now, the title of Chapter 3 is called Get Off the Couch. Diamond Dallas Page starts this chapter discussing a childhood disability that he developed and carried all the way into his life of having dyslexia and ADD. Now, at that time, that was not really diagnosed. A lot of people didn't even know what that was. All of his teachers and older people around that time just assumed that he was a little bit slow and definitely a slow learner. And the one thing that Dallas knew, that he had zero ability to read. And he carried this all the way through middle school and high school, and even partly into college. He made it all that way without having the ability to read, and he was completely unable to do so. Now, in order to get as far as he did, he had to find ways to adapt, and that's kind of the Diamond Dallas Page story, was that there's adversity in his life, and he found ways to adapt. So he made it all the way through up into college without having the ability to read a single word. Now, one of his biggest fears growing up was being called out for that. So he found ways that during his classroom in middle school and grade school, where they were called upon to read out loud in class, he developed ways to skirt around that. He became the class clown. He became the class troublemaker. If he was picked upon to read out loud, he would do something that would get him sent to the principal's office. So he found ways this entire time to get around this. Once he decided that he was not college material and that he didn't want to stay enrolled in college, he took a job as a nightclub manager, and he flourished at this job. He did really, really well. Now, one day he needed to write an ad campaign for the bar. So there's a headline, and he needed to write about what band was playing that night or what sort of specials they're running for the day. So he jotted down some words on a piece of paper. He handed it to his second man in the bar named Smokey. Smokey looked at it and he said, "What idiot wrote this?" And Dallas had to fess up and say, "I am that idiot." So around that time in his life, he realized it was very important that he needed to find some sort of way to change and be able to adapt to be able to read. Now, around the same time, he discovered Tony Robbins. Now, if you're not familiar with Tony Robbins is one of the most well-renowned world self-help gurus. He's been able to transform people's lives all over the world. He's worked with celebrities. He's worked with people from every single different upbringing, and he's just a really, really successful man. So DDP became enamored with the idea of making himself better, but he realized that without the ability to read, he wouldn't be able to read his books. So he purchases audio seminars, and through those audio seminars, one of Tony Robbins' huge teachings is goal setting, is being able to set out goals and accomplish them through a system. So Dallas, throughout his life, developed his own type of goal-setting system, which he shares in the book, which he calls Smackdown. Now, as a former professional wrestler, it's very appropriate, Smackdown. So SMACKDOWN. Now, I'm going to review each aspect of the Smackdown goal-setting system and apply that to Dallas's story. So what is the Smackdown goal-setting system? So Smackdown is an acronym. And I'm going to go over some of that right here, and I'm going to apply it to DDP's story. So S stands for specific. So when you're setting goals, you have to set goals that are not really vague. They have to be specific. So in DDP's example, he talks about he wanted to learn how to read. Now, if his goal was just the ability to learn how to read, that's way too vague. So S standing for specific, he set a goal out to read an entire book in 1 year. So there's 365 days in a year. He wanted to finish an entire book in that period of time. Now, the second part of the acronym Smackdown is M, and M stands for measurable. So once you set that goal, how can you go about finding out whether or not you're actually achieving that goal or not. So you have to have a goal that's measurable. And in his case, he picked a book specifically that was 365 pages long. So that way he can read 1 page a day. Now, for him, that's very, very easy to do. It wasn't easy to read those pages, but at least it seemed a little bit easier, and he can every single day mark off whether or not he read that 1 page or not, making that very, very measurable. Now, the book he ended up picking was Lee Iacocca's autobiography. So he picked that one specifically because it was 365 pages long, just about, and also it was a topic that he was interested in. Now, A stands for achievable. So was it achievable for him to read 1 page a day? Yes. Would it be easy? It certainly wouldn't be easy, but it would be much easier than if he said, I want to read a 365 page book in a week or even a month. That would be very, very difficult for someone that's just starting to learn how to read. So when you're setting goals, achievability is very, very important. They have to be a realistic goal. Now, C stands for compatible. So the lifestyle that you're living, is that compatible to achieving your goals? Now, at the time, DDP is a very, very busy man. He's running several bars as a nightclub manager. He's also a part-time professional wrestler. That's a very busy lifestyle. So what he did was he picked that he was going to read that 1 page at night before he went to bed while laying in bed. So that was very, very compatible to his lifestyle. He didn't say, it wasn't the type of thing that he had to spend several hours a day to achieve his goal. It's that short period of time before he went to bed was his time where he sat down and was able to read that book. Now, K means keep it going. So once you get started with your goals, you have to make sure that you're keeping every single day moving towards that goal. Now, he had set that very specific goal of 365 pages in 1 year, 1 page a day. Every single day he had to keep doing that. One of the things he did to remind himself that he needed to do this every single day was he set up a system where he had Post-it notes set all around his bedroom, on his nightstand, on the lamp next to his bed, on the mirror in his bathroom, and they all said, read today. Read today, read today. So every single day that he was going to bed, he was reminded he absolutely needed to read that 1 page in order to achieve his goal. Now, the rest of the acronym are all action steps. DOWN. D means do it. Make no excuses. Absolutely go after your goal. You must do this every single day. O means own it. You set out to achieve this goal. It is up to you every single day to achieve that. W means write it down. And this is very important. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. DDP states as, don't just think it, ink it. You need to write down your goals. You need to keep this somewhere that you can see this all the time and you can review this day after day. And N means now. There's no excuses. Once you set that goal, start that day. Don't say, oh, I'm going to start my exercise program on Monday if it's a Wednesday. Start that day. What difference does it make? The faster you get that goal going, the more momentum you build, the more likely you're able to achieve that goal. So in DDP's story, he applied the Smackdown system and he was able to read that entire book and he wasn't able to start at all. He wasn't able to read 1 word. He was able to read an entire book in the course of a year, and that got the momentum going. He set another goal for the next year to be able to read another book. And from there, it just picked up on and on and on. So how does this apply to your goals? Now, most people that are doing the DDPY program, let's say that fat loss is your goal. And most people that I know that are in this program are doing this to lose some weight. So let's apply that Smackdown goal to that. So let's say you wanted to lose 50 pounds in a year. According to the Smackdown goal setting system, that's very specific. You've set a very specific amount of weight. It's measurable. Every single week you're taking your measurements and your weight and you're seeing whether or not you're achieving that goal. Is it achievable? Now there's 52 weeks in a year. That's 1 pound a week if you wanted to lose 50 pounds over the course of a year. One of the problems people fit is that it's coming around to summertime. They say, I want to lose 20 pounds in a week because I saw on some website that I could do that or on the cover of a magazine. And that's not realistic. 1 to 2 pounds a week is probably more realistic. Now, C, compatible. Is it compatible with your lifestyle? Are you coming home every night and sitting on the couch and watching TV and eating fast food? That's not a compatible lifestyle of losing weight. Setting up an exercise program that's compatible with your goals, where you're burning calories and you're consuming less calories than you're burning on a day, that sets your body into a caloric deficit. That's where you lose weight. So it needs to be compatible into your daily living, and you have to actually make changes in your daily living to get there. So, okay, keep it going. You started an exercise program. You started a nutrition program. You need to get that going. You need to keep that going every single day. Now, do it, own it, write it down, write down that goal. Say you want to lose 50 pounds every single, 1 pound a week for 52 weeks. Write that goal down on your refrigerator. Remind yourself every single day. Write that down on your mat, on your yoga mat. Make sure that every single day that you're doing those workouts, you know why you're doing that. You know what your goal is. And remember, start now. Too many people wait until the beginning of a year to say, oh, okay, I'm going to start to get into shape. And that's where they fall into their problems. It's not a specific enough goal. They're just saying, okay, I want to lose some weight. I want to get started. And they wait till January 1st. And that's a recipe for failure. Write down that goal and start today. There's no excuses on why you can't start today. If you need to wait till tomorrow because you need to purchase your mat and start tomorrow. But that covers chapter 3. There's also something in chapter 3, the story of Jared Mollenkoff. And he is a tremendous transformation. I'm going to leave a link in the comment box below of his story. And there's actually a blog post, which is really powerful, that he included in that book. Now, Jared lost 300 pounds in 15 months. Now, that is exceptional, but there's a reason why he was so successful at that, and a reason why he was included in this chapter was he broke down that goal into small, bite-sized goals, just like DDP did with his reading 1 page a day. Jared just didn't say, okay, I need to lose a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time. He got started really, really slowly. He started hitting the mat. He started doing his exercises. He started breaking his food habit, and slowly but surely over time picked up tremendous momentum. And at the end of the day, he ended up so much better than he would have ever been if he never got started. So the bottom line is this: no matter where you are now, another year will go by and you'll find yourself in the same spot unless you write down your goals and take the first step to achieving them. Don't be paralyzed with the fear of failure or the fear of too much work. Just start small and start to hack away at your goals. You'll wake up one morning and you'll realize how far you've come. I know you can do this. DDP knows you can do this. The true question is, do you know that you can do this? So that concludes this week's video. Thank you again for watching this video. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment in the comment box below, and if you can, please subscribe to my channel, I.AM.UNSTOPPABLE. In the next few weeks, we're going to be doing more chapters of the book, Positively Unstoppable by Diamond Dallas Page. And also be sure to keep out for my next few videos covering my progress in the DDPY Positively Unstoppable Challenge. We're on the home stretch. I'm actually continuing to progress more and more, and I can't wait to share that with you. So I hope you guys have a great day. Keep working hard and keep setting your goals.